Welcome to Onslow County Today. I'm your host, Lisa Whitman-Grice, and you can see today we are at a beautiful Consolidated Human Services building. This building houses our Department of Social Services and our Health Department. This is the building that connects our community to so many resources that are valuable and important to their daily lives. We're going to be talking today with a whole team from the Department of Social Services to celebrate National Social Worker Appreciation Month. We'll also be talking with Matt Mano and with Virginia March from the Onslow County Public Library about some important spring events that they have coming up. And finally, we'll talk with Victoria Reyes and Ciera Cook from the Onslow County Health Department about National Nutrition Month and a community-wide forum that they're hosting. As always, we're so glad that you're here for Onslow County Today. Welcome to the Consolidated Human Services building. Welcome back to Onslow County Today, and now we're visiting with Matt Mano from the Onslow County Public Library. Matt, you always bring three things. One, the most fun and energy. Two, lots of great programs. And three, your glasses.
Always.
Always the best.
I try to distract everybody with them. It helps maintain eye contact.
They're perfect. So we always have a great time though when you're here with us, and as we were talking off camera, you've got like things just here and here and here and here. So let's get started. First things first. It's springtime, and you've got some things going on at several branches that are bringing the spring.
Yes. So there's quite a few programs that we're kicking off. And they're going to be, some are going to be monthly programs, some are going to be every other week programs, and there's so many that I actually had to bring my phone today and look.
I like the technology.
So we are kicking off our Common Threads at Richlands. So they're kicking off their first one March 7th. So if you enjoy knitting, cross-stitching, anything that you want to get around your crocheting, if you do any Afghan blankets, they're really just creating a circle where people can enjoy their hobby, have some fun together, maybe learn some new techniques. So that's going to be kicking off in Richlands, and that's going to be March 7th, and then they do that monthly as well.
Awesome.
So following that, then March 9th, if you head on the other side of the county, Swansboro is kicking off their community garden. So this was a huge success last year. Miss Lisa's had lots of donations from Lowe's and other community partners. So they had a successful garden. They've had vegetables, they've had flowers. They've done lots of different programs where community members would come, they'd be able to take these vegetables home, and the best part is, they grew right there at the library. So they've done programs based on that. They'll be kicking it off March 9th this year, and they'll get started with their digging, with their soiling, and then they'll start actually planting and stuff, and that goes twice a month. So they're going to do it twice a month. Community members, patrons can come in, they can help water the garden, they can weed, plant stuff, take the vegetables once it's time. I know we got a little bit of time until then, but it's always great to think about it ahead of time.
Process.
Yes. So then if we go over to Sneed's Ferry, March 6th, we're going to jump to some kids this time. So they're doing Light Up the Night, and that is night with a K. So this is going to be fairy tales, princesses, knights, and castles. So they're going to be kind of exploring our summer reading theme a little early.
Yeah, a little sneak peek.
Yes, yeah. So if nobody's heard yet, our 2020 summer reading theme is Imagine Your Story. So we're going to be kind of going fantasy, science fiction. It's going to be a lot of fun. But that night, they're going to be doing lots of activities with the kids based around fairy tales, princesses, and of course, knights.
All right.
So that's going to be a ton of fun. And then the last two things I'm going to mention. March 26th at the Jacksonville branch. We're going to have front porch roll call is what they're calling it.
Okay.
So the Jacksonville Police Department will be out, and this is just going to be a great time where our community and our patrons can get to know their police force and what they're all about. You know, they're here to protect and serve, and that's what they want to do. So they'll be there listening to community members if they have emerging issues or concerns around their neighborhood, and you know, they're just like, well, it's not an emergency, it's not a 911 call, it's just something in the back of their mind. That's something that they can talk to the police force. They can get to know some of their policemen, you know, and women, like on a name basis, and they can kind of just say, hey, this has been going on. I don't know if it's something we need to be concerned about. So that's one thing that I'm super excited about, because you know, you want to be able to talk to your policemen and women before there's an emergency, before there's an accident. You know, you want to be able to know that, oh, hey, how's it going, officer?
Exactly.
And then the last thing too, March 30th in Jacksonville as well, we have our food fest. So this is kind of collaborating with our One Book, One Community, Call Me American book. So they're going to be, each month we've been doing conversation circles for our patrons. So this kind of is running off of that. So we'll have foods from around the world that people will be bringing in, just kind of trying stuff that's going to be, you know, in diverse tastes. So you know, we love our Thai, we love our Chinese, we love, you know, all of our different Latina foods, and this will be something where you can expand your horizons. Maybe if you're like, I don't like this, I don't want to spend the money on it, but you can try something for free. Get a little taste of it. So those are our big events coming up in March that we are looking forward to. And again, from small to adults, we have all sorts of things going on.
And across the county.
Yes, all over the county too.
Now, also, you know, we're thinking about spring. It gets warm. I've got spring fever, and before long, I'm already thinking summertime. And I know you want to give a special kind of call out to your teens about your teen program.
Absolutely. So our teens at the library, teens love to be out and about, and we know that they're busy. We know a lot of them have jobs now. Some of them are driving. Some of them are doing their sports and their extracurriculars, but then you have some who are either, you know, stuck at home, they're not sure what they're going to do, and you know, we want them to know that the library is, again, more than just books. We have our teen programs available. So we have a teen DIY program that we do in Jacksonville, which is a lot of fun. It's kind of like that Adulting 101, but for teens. So, you know, Miss Nancy goes over different things. Like she did, we had a salon come in last month, and they did hair techniques and extensions. They'll do stuff like how to change a tire, buying your first car, cooking for a dorm if you're going to be going into college.
Saving for college.
Yes. So we've had Marine Federal come in and help us with stuff like that. And then we have our TNT program, which is Teens and Tweens. So that's just a day each month where they can come in. We'll have a special activity for them. They can hang out, listen to music, have some fun together. And then we also have our teen volunteers. So they really help our library run too. And our teens are always looking for hours for whether it be National Honor Society, SAT hours, AVID hours. So the library is one of those places that they can get those hours. So they can do our teen volunteer orientations, and those are available at all the branches. So if they're ever looking for hours and say the animal shelter or the soup kitchen or somewhere is just blocked up and, you know, they can't get them there, they can always head over to the library, see about putting those hours in there as well.
And they are such a great resource. They keep us current, they keep us relevant, and they keep us in stitches at the museum. I mean, they are so funny. I love their energy.
Absolutely.
So that is awesome. So lots going on in March, from food to books to gardens to Knights of the Round Table. Wanting to remind our teens to get ready, because don't want to wait till the last minute either to sign up for summer hours and activities.
For sure.
And of course, you always want to direct people to your social media map, because you guys have a great presence. So tell us how we can learn more.
Yes, so we are on social. We're on Facebook, Twitter, and Pinterest, Instagram as well. So Onslow County Public Library, you can find us on there. And then you can also visit us either at any of our branches. You can reach us by phone, 910-455-7350.
Okay.
And then our website, of course, onslowcountync.gov/library.
Well, Matt, thanks as always for bringing the fun, bringing
Absolutely.
the energy, bringing lots of great information, and of course, bringing your glasses.
Thank you.
Welcome back to Onslow County Today. And in honor of Social Worker Appreciation Month, we are visiting with a team of social workers here at Onslow County Department of Social Services. And our first guest is Tanisha Speller.
That's correct.
Tanisha, welcome. We're so glad you're here.
Thank you for having me.
So we want to talk about several things. One, we want to talk about how you came to work in social work. What called you, what sent you, what brought you to this field, and really what it means to you to work in that field, here in Onslow County especially. And we want to begin with, what is your area of, what unit are you with? What's your area of specialization?
So I'm a social worker with Child Protective Services.
Okay, so our youngest, most vulnerable members of our community.
That is correct, yes.
And you are their advocate, you are their ally.
Right.
So tell us, how long have you been with Onslow County Social Services?
I started with Onslow County in September of 2016.
Okay, so you're going on, you've got 3.5 years.
3.5 years, yes.
3.5 years. And where are you from?
I am from Sampson County.
Okay, so did you start your career there?
I did.
Okay, and then you've come to Onslow.
Yes.
Obviously a much larger community.
Right.
With a much larger, tiny population, little people. What brought you to social work? What inspired you? What called you to this field?
Well, I originally began in economic services, so that was assisting with food stamps, Medicaid applications, and we service a lot of the same clientele. I just became more intrigued by that, so then I wanted to change over and do more of the impact side.
And so now you work in Child Protective Services. What brings you to work every day?
Assisting my families, working with the clients, assisting them with their needs, and then working with that family, and then they never have another case again is very satisfying, letting me know that I impacted them or assisted them in some way.
And when you talk about assisting them, what are some of the things, the concrete things that you do for them?
Providing home education as far as discipline. Sometimes a lot of clients get into this is how I was raised, and they don't know that there's a different way. So coming in and providing them with that information that, okay, this is a way you can try, or that's something else you can do.
So a lot of parenting education, and providing that information, and it all begins with education, and sometimes, as you say, sort of re-education.
Right.
A little bit of re-education. Tanisha, in your 3.5 years here at Onslow County, what have you seen that has changed, that's inspired you?
Oh my goodness. Just one thing?
All right, if you have more than one, that's awesome.
As far as working with the families, or just seeing the different dynamics. I think everyone has what we would consider a norm. So how you grew up in the environment that you grew up in, and then seeing the diversity of the backgrounds, especially being in a military town. So I've had people from different cultures, different countries, different states, and just learning everyone's norms, so to speak.
Learning their normal.
Their normal,
learning
yes.
their normal, and then integrating these ideas that you bring from Child Protective Services.
Right.
We know we certainly don't talk about specifics or names or anything like that, but when you think about your career, there's moments in your career, specific moments in your career that you say, this is why I do this.
Yes.
This is why you do this.
Working with those families who never get another report, and seeing them in the community and they say thank you, or I'm still utilizing that resource, or I'm still doing this the way you said, yes.
Well, we thank you, and we just want you to know how much we appreciate what you do every day for the children and families of Onslow County.
Thank you.
Welcome back to Onslow County Today, and joining us now is Tremonda Raines with the Onslow County Department of Social Services. Tremonda, thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
And happy Social Worker Appreciation Month.
Thank you very much.
Tremonda, we're visiting with members of your team here at DSS, talking about your world of social work and what brought you to this field, what brought you to this calling. And the first thing we want to find out is a little bit about you, and begin with, where are you from?
Well, I'm from Duplin County.
Okay.
Just a few minutes over.
Right.
And then I've been living here for about 3 years now.
And how long have you been with Onslow County Department of Social Services?
3 years.
3 years. Now, what we really are trying to find out is is what called you to social work? What was it that inspired you to follow this path?
I enjoy working with families. I love people. I'm a very outgoing person. I have people around here will tell you I have a very high personality.
Okay.
But I just love the fact of just being able to impact children's lives and families, and to be able to provide extra resources and things for them. So.
And you're in the Child Protective Services?
That's correct.
Division? Okay. You know, as I think about it, you know, these are our youngest, you know, most precious members of our community. In that, what brings you to work every day?
Just knowing that there's a possibility that I can make a difference. Some days things are just not going correctly, and then I'll go and I'll visit a family and I'll have a kid that'll tell me thank you, you know,
Right.
for being there for me and to help me to find this and to put me in a situation to do better and to grow. And that all makes the difference. Just the idea of coming to work and having that possibility that I can do some good in somebody's life on that day.
Well, you mentioned that some days are harder than others, and you know, there are those of us who might never even imagine the stories that children face. What about your team here? Because as we were setting up, we know that what you do on a daily basis is really difficult, but there's a lot of laughter amongst this team. Talk a little bit about how special they are as a group.
Oh my gosh. I spend more than half my day here, you know, and with my coworkers, and we have an amazing tier. We have so many of us that we come from all different walks of life, but whenever it comes down to what we do, we use each other as sounding boards and venting sessions, but then we can also laugh. We have a very we like to say a sick sense of humor because of what we work in, but sometimes you have to have that.
Yeah.
But to be able to go to a coworker and just say, hey, I need a moment. Can I vent to you, or can we just talk? And it means I'm a big fan of family, and I think that this is my family. And I love my team. I do. My team that I'm in, I love that. And then just being a part of the tier, we have great supervisors, our program manager and our director, and we're just a family, and it means a lot to have that.
So your family is helping the families of Onslow County.
That is correct.
Well, Tremonda, thank you, and we wish you a very, very happy Social Worker Appreciation Month, but knowing how grateful we are that you're here every day for us.
Thank you so much.
Welcome back to Onslow County Today. And now we are joined by Melissa Balto with Onslow County Department of Social Services as part of our celebration of Social Worker Appreciation Month. Melissa, thanks for being here.
Thank you.
So we've been talking with your coworkers about, you know, what brought them to social work, and so we really like to get to know the people who serve our community. And Melissa, we want to know about you. Where are you from?
I'm actually from here. I've lived here almost all of my life. Spent a couple of years overseas in Italy, but I've always come right back here.
Always come home.
That's right.
All roads lead to Onslow.
That's right.
So how long have you been with Department of Social Services?
I've been here 4 years.
Okay.
And I've been a social worker for the last 2.
Okay, and in what area, what division are you with?
I'm with Adult Protective Services, so I do the adult services.
And let's explain to our audience who APS really serves, because that's a broad group. When we think Child Protective Services,
Right.
That's kind of obvious, but yours is a little bit different.
Yes, it is. So we serve individuals who are 18 and older who have a disability. So that's the focus that we're looking at. So we get individuals who have just turned 18, who are in their mid-20s, 30s, 40s, and of course we get a lot of the geriatric population as well.
Okay, and your job at APS, we say Adult Protective Services. Certainly, you have their well-being first and foremost in your mind.
Absolutely.
But in what way do you work with them in the community? What are some real kind of specific examples of what you do?
So, well, as an adult protective services social worker, I evaluate exploitation, abuse, neglect, and our main focus is when we're working with individuals or our clients that come to us is to make sure that they're safe in their home and what we can do to make sure that they continue to be safe in home. We really want to see our individuals age in place so that they're not going into a facility or they're able to stay at home as long as they possibly can. So we'll connect them with resources in the county. Maybe it's in-home services to help them take a shower or getting transportation to go to the doctor or, you know, a lot of times especially my geriatric clients, a lot of times they just want somebody to be there, to talk with them, give them a hug every so often.
You know, everything that you listed are things that most of us take for granted that we can just do. I get up in the morning, I get ready for work, I go to work, I go to the grocery store.
Right.
That I don't give, you know, a lot of those transitional moments that are just what we do.
Right.
You're there to make sure that the folks you work with in the community have that same ease.
Exactly. So if it's getting somebody a box of food or connecting them with Meals on Wheels so that they have nutritious meals coming into the home on a daily basis, that's not only giving them a face that they see every day, it's also giving them food that they need to continue to, you know, thrive.
To thrive, and so that they can stay at home and be comfortable. Again, we're not going to, you know, we certainly want to protect the privacy of the folks you work with, but are there moments in your career that you say, this is my why?
Yes, I absolutely love it. I've got a lot of clients right now that I'm working with, and you know, at the end of the day, when I go home, if I have been able to bring a box of food to somebody who doesn't have food on a regular basis, that just, you know, brings me joy to my heart. Or if I'm able to get them transportation to the doctor, or link them up with those services that they need, or have somebody come in just to help maybe clean a little bit, cook, or give them a shower. Because when you're dirty, you certainly don't feel very good.
Right.
So getting those services, which is something that we do on a regular basis, is really my why I'm here, why I'm helping these individuals. So, and I love it.
Well, that is the perfect note to end on, because that's what's brought you. Your love of the community, your love of service. And we just want to please express our gratitude to you for what you do every day, not just during Social Worker Appreciation Month, but every day. Thank you for what you do.
Thank you.
Welcome back to Onslow County today, and as part of our ongoing celebration of Social Worker Appreciation Month, we have Kiana Wyatt joining us. Kiana, welcome to Onslow County today.
Thank you.
Now, you and I have gotten to know each other a little bit over the last month with another special project we've got going on in the county, but we want our audience to get to know you. So first thing is, where are you from?
I'm from Wilson.
Okay, so a little bit to our north there in Wilson. And how long have you been here with Onslow County Department of Social Services?
I've been here since April of 2019.
Okay, so you're coming up on your 1 year anniversary. Yay! That's perfect timing. Perfect timing. So 1 year, happy anniversary, a little bit early to you.
Thank you.
And we want to know also, what division are you with? What unit are you with here?
CPS in Home Services.
Okay, so we've talked with some folks in CPS, but CPS Home Services, you have a little bit of a different addition to your job description, if you will. Tell us a little bit about what you do.
So in-home services is exactly what it sounds like.
Okay.
The goal is to work with families to keep the children in the home and to prevent them from going to foster care.
Okay.
So that's what I do.
And what are your tools for that? How are you working with our families to make sure that they remain intact?
And so I work with the families, you know, I provide them resources here within the department or outside the department, you know, places like Coastal Horizons, Community Prevention Services, Pride, those type of places are what, you know, I try to utilize, you know, to work with my families and to get them on the right track.
Okay, so connecting them with resources in the community, you're that conduit, you're that connector that says, hey, here's a place that might help you because we want to make sure that your kiddos stay right here.
Yes, ma'am.
So in that year that you've done that, I can't imagine how many lives you've had the opportunity to touch. Do you have any kind of idea about how many families you've worked with over just your last year?
I don't know, honestly.
I
I honestly don't know. Maybe 20 or more families. And you know, families are big, so it's
Right.
like you're working with both sides, multiple sides of a family. So yeah, honestly, I don't even know.
Well, you know what? In the course of a year and the amount of work you've done, it's hard to imagine that you could keep count. And the fact that it is so many different families with so many different personalities, characteristics, and your job is to provide them with resources, but also be able to manage that and communicate with that. Talk about it. Talk about the idea of from family to family that nobody has one story. You know, yeah, I mean that you really have to kind of change your perspective from door to door.
Yeah, I do actually. So it's hard to explain too, because it's like you have to adapt with each family. You know, it's kind of like I have to bring a different personality everywhere I go.
Well, sure. I mean, you communicate and come to people where they are.
Yeah.
And what about the range of children? I mean, are we talking pre-K to 18? Who are the kids that you're meeting every day and working with?
So yeah, it is a range, you know, from newborns all the way up to 18. So yeah, even I got the small ones, have the big ones. I mostly work with the smaller ones though. Come up to my knees and like to hug my kneecaps.
There you go. Well, you know, that's the funny thing. When you're this tall, that's all you see anyway. So it's like, I'm just grabbing onto the closest knee I can find. But you're their knee. You're their support. When they grab your knee over the last year, what has it meant to you to be part of this community and part of this team at DSS and to serve the families that you do?
To me, I think it means just being a breakthrough for change, because a lot of people, when they hear CPS, we're the bad guys. They think, oh no.
Right, they've come to the door and gonna take my family. And
So-
you're not there to do that.
Right. So exactly. So just changing, you know, the myths about social workers, because you know, a lot of people think social workers just take people's kids. And so for me to just come in and say, that's not what I'm here to do. I want you to keep your kids. I want them to stay in the home, and not only that, but I don't want you to have another experience like this. When you come to DSS and when you come to Onslow, to the community, I want you to think of me in a good way. Like, you know, I taught you, I educated you on what you need to know. So when you do come back, it's not to see me, if you get what I'm saying, it's not to see me as your social worker, but to see me as a person in the community who changed your outlook.
Well, that is a wonderful perspective in just the year that you've been here, that you're making that kind of difference and that you're here to be an ally for these families and an advocate. So happy anniversary.
Thank you.
And happy Social Worker Appreciation Month.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Welcome back to Onslow County Today, and joining us now is Allie Kaiser with the Onslow County Department of Social Services, joining us as we continue our celebration of Social Worker Appreciation Month. Allie, thanks for being here today.
Thanks for having me.
So Allie, we're talking about several things today. We're talking about what kind of pulled you to the profession of social work, what you do specifically for Onslow County, and then a little bit about what inspires you every day. But the first thing we always want people to know is, you know, we might know your story, but we want our audience to know that. So we want to know where you're from, Allie.
I grew up right here in Onslow County. I went to Richland School District, and I just love being here.
So you went off to college.
Yes, ma'am.
And then came home.
Yes,
to
I
serve.
went to East Carolina University, and I got my bachelor's and my master's degree in social work, and I came back to Onslow County to be able to give back to the community that kind of raised me, so I am very grateful to be here.
Now you've come home and you're here in the community, again, as you said, giving back. And what part of our community, what part of our population do you serve here through DSS?
Well, with DSS, I work with the Adult Services Department, and I do mostly guardianship cases, and then I also do Adult Protective Services reports as well.
Okay.
With guardianship, we manage that person's well-being and health, and make sure that they're taken care of, whether that's in a facility or we try to let those people stay in their homes as long as possible, as long as they're safe.
Now, you know, we've mentioned that through several of our interviews, the idea of safety and protection. And we normally think, oh, well, that's our family's job. That's who keeps me safe every day. I keep my kids safe, or looking out for my parents. But not everyone has that gift. And so they have you. Talk a little bit about being their family, about being their safety net.
Yes, so a lot of our elderly individuals, especially in our community, do not have families. So, or their families have moved away or passed away. So we step in, especially in the guardianship role, so that they have their medications, they have their food, they get to the appointments, whether we're connecting them with Medicaid transportation or the OUTS bus. We encourage them to get their food stamps or home delivered meals through senior services. We try to let them be as independent as possible, but with the assistance from us, it really keeps them in the home and happy.
It keeps them at home, which is where we all really find our safe space.
Yes, ma'am.
Allie, you know, we talked about you going away and coming home and giving back to your community. What was it in the first place that drew you to social work?
Well, when I was in high school, I really enjoyed working with the special needs population, and I helped out in the special needs class, and we went to the Special Needs Olympics in Onslow County, and that kind of spurred my social work passion. Granted, I don't work with the children anymore because I work with adults, but a lot of our adults are special needs, so I get to kind of follow that past the school age, because we work with anyone from 18 and over.
So caring, you know, going beyond and through the rest of their life, and as you said, making sure that they're safe and they have the resources that they need. Allie, you know, you've been with Onslow County how long now?
At the end of this month will be 4 years.
Okay, and in the 4 years that you've been here, you've seen already in just really what would seem like a short time, quite a bit of change. Talk about, because we're here in your beautiful CHS facility, and you've transitioned. You were at your former facility and now here. Talk about the difference that this facility has made in terms of inspiring your team members every day.
So this facility has really helped us out, because a lot of our elderly individuals and special needs individuals, and just adults in general, they can come and apply for their food stamps. They can get their Medicaid here. They can see the health department if they need to. And because we're in the downtown area, the transportation system is very prevalent here. So it makes it a lot easier for them to access resources. Granted, our senior services over is on 258, but the bus does take people out there as well. So it's just making it a lot more easily accessible for those individuals, which is great for the people who don't get around as well or have mobility issues.
Well, wonderful. Well, we love being here and we love celebrating what you all do every day. So on behalf of Onslow County, happy Social Worker Appreciation Month, and please know how very grateful we are for what you do every day.
Thank you so much.
Welcome back to Onslow County Today, and joining us now is Alisha Bowie with the Onslow County Department of Social Services. Alisha, thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Alisha, what we're doing with this entire segment is celebrating what you do every day and your team does in the Department of Social Services. And before we kind of get into the depth of what you do every day, we want to know you. So tell us where you're from.
I'm actually from Onslow County. I was born and raised in Jacksonville. My husband was born and raised here. My family and his family is all here, so we are Onslow County natives.
All right, so you have a deep connection to the community.
Absolutely.
And you've taken that connection and now you work for social services. How long have you been here?
I've been here a year.
Okay, so you've just celebrated or right at your anniversary?
I'm almost to my anniversary,
Well,
yeah.
Congratulations on that. So we're celebrating social workers, and we want to know really what drew you or called you to the field of social work.
Well, I was teaching, and I wanted a closer connection to the county. I wanted to feel like I was making more of a direct impact for our citizens.
Okay.
So while I know teachers are very impactful, I wanted to be more directly involved in the lives of the families here in Onslow County.
And what unit, what division do you work with?
I am
there?
in permanency planning, so also known as foster care. So I work with kids who are out of the home, but I also work with those families to do what they need to do to get the kids back home.
Okay, so the reunification process as well.
Absolutely.
You know, we've on Onslow County Today spoken with so many foster families, both with family placement and then those who serve our community as foster families. Talk a little bit about the relationships that you forge as we build families in Onslow County.
So I think I have the unique job that I get to form relationships with foster families, with the children, and with the biological families. And I get to give them all hope. I get to give the biological families hope that they can make their situation better and get back to a normal. I get to give the kids hope that we can make their lives better, and if it's not going back home to the bio parents, that we can get them in a good situation so they do have a positive future. And then we get to work with these amazing people who volunteer to be foster families and make those connections with them and help them foster the adolescents of the community to just give them a positive place to be during a very traumatic time in their life.
Right. I love the connection, the triangle that you've created amongst your families. It's hard to even add anything more to that other than you've done this for a year now. Obviously, you have a deep connection to the story. As you think back on the year, are there those moments that tell you and affirm, I made the decision, I made the right decision when I made this change in my career to be impactful? Are you feeling it?
Absolutely. From the very beginning, when I got here, I knew this is where I was supposed to be. I think I've helped with some families change their view on social services. They have seen social workers as very judgmental, very negative people in their lives. And I've had so many families tell me that I have just helped them so much and been such a positive experience for them. And I really like that I can change that stigma of how I approach families, helping to change that stigma of the agency.
Well, thank you for everything that you do. As we celebrate, National Social Worker Month, but every day in the last year, you have definitely made a change in the lives of Onslow County.
I certainly hope so.
And thank you for that, and thank you for realizing that your calling is here and the impacts that you are making. So thank you for that, and we look forward to talking with you in the future.
Thank you.
Welcome back to Onslow County Today, and joining us is a new face to Onslow County Today. We have Ciera Cook joining us from the Onslow County Health Department. Ciera, thanks for being here.
Of course, thank you.
Now, Ciera, we always like to get to know our guests, especially our new faces. Tell us, what is your role with the Onslow County Health Department and how long you've been here?
Okay, so first of all, I've only been here for a few months. I'm a new dietitian, so I've been here since the end of June.
Okay.
Yep, so I kind of have two separate roles. I work downstairs. I'm a nutritionist at the WIC office, so that's my main role.
Sure.
But also I work as a dietitian, so we do some outreach projects, and then we do certain programs through the health department.
Well, we want to talk about both of those roles because they obviously fit hand in glove. And the first thing is we are commemorating National Nutrition Month. And talk to us about what that national initiative is all about.
So National Nutrition Month is supposed to be more fun than anything educational. So our theme this year is Eat Right, Bite by Bite, which I really like. I think people see nutrition as this, kind of like big idea that they, need to change their whole life in a day to fit a certain vision of what they think is healthy. But I think the theme this year takes us back to the basics of every smart decision that we make, it deals with the big impact of our health. So that's kind of the main idea for this year.
So eat right, bite by bite.
Right.
So you don't feel like, oh, I've got to immediately eliminate everything that's bad for me,
Right.
and only eat things that are good and crunchy and bland and tofu.
Right.
Right.
So that's kind of the joy with this year, is it's, you know, taking it step by step. So each week kind of has a different theme on what we're focusing on. So the first week focuses on eating a variety of foods from all food groups. The second week kind of focuses on planning. So how can we make it easy for us to eat healthy every day? The third week then focuses on how to prepare those foods, so it's not just nutritious foods, but also tasty foods. And then the third week focuses on when to consult a registered dietitian.
Now, you know, for those of us who have struggled with making right choices, there are a number of ways that registered dietitian can help us. Talk a little bit about how that makes that difference.
So there's a lot of research that shows that the impact of a registered dietitian is very powerful in terms of weight loss and also in terms of lifestyle change. So it's really easy to go on a diet for a week or 2 weeks or even a month or a year, but having a registered dietitian there helps it be more manageable so that it's an actual lifestyle change. So the reasons to consult a dietitian really would be anything. Any questions or concerns that you have about nutrition is something that a registered dietitian could help you with.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, we've talked about your role sort of as that dietitian, that's someone that we can check in with, someone who can help us create a roadmap or a path to better choices. But sometimes, Ciera, life gets in the way. What are some of those impediments that we all face that we can make different choices about?
So a lot of the things that I hear are time. I'm too busy to cook. I can't cook every day. I don't have time to meal prep. A lot of what I hear too is it doesn't taste good. I want to eat what I want to eat. I don't want to eat healthy. So there's really a lot to it. Some people say cost is an issue. So that kind of switching gears here, but that's kind of what I deal with in the WIC office, is trying to eat healthy on a budget, because it's absolutely possible.
Well, you know, when you're working with WIC, and that's the perfect segue to your other hat that you wear in the county, and working with WIC is, that's when we're setting foundations for good choices, and we do talk about convenience foods are more affordable, but not always. It's about doing your homework. Talk about how you help your families make those choices and setting those strong foundations for your kids that you work with, your families.
So the first step is really to want to be healthy. So making sure that they understand that when you do eat healthy, it's not just, you know, I should do this because it's good for my body, but you actually feel better when you eat healthy. So we talk about that a lot. And other than that, it's just talking about small things you can do. You can buy in bulk. That's a really good way to save money, especially for my larger families. Steamable veggies. You can buy a whole bag of broccoli for $1.29. And especially for my WIC families, those are approved using WIC benefits. So the amount of times that I buy fresh broccoli, cut it all up, and then steam it, and then season it, rare. I pop it in the microwave for 5 minutes or however long it takes, and pull it out, season it, all done. So I mean, I don't spend more than 30 minutes on a meal. So it's just kind of all about knowing some of those tips and tricks to find the deals where you can.
You know, when we've been talking a lot with social workers today and about what called them to their profession. You work in public health, which is not just being a registered dietitian, but with the community and with the work you do at WIC. What called you to public service, Ciera? How did you see that this would make a difference in the lives of our community?
So to be honest with you, I never originally saw myself in public health. I always saw myself more in a clinical role and like a black and white type of role. I think, you know, I was drawn to public health through Jacksonville, and ever since I've had this job, it's really changed my view on the community. So I really learned a lot from this role. I mean, I've always been very passionate about helping people. That's really why I wanted to be a dietitian more than anything, is so I can help people without being a doctor and going to school forever. So that's kind of what drew me to it. I really just want to help people, and I really feel like I make some kind of a difference every day, and that it's very fulfilling.
Well, thank you. Thank you for helping us recognize that making healthy choices doesn't have to be hard.
Yes.
But that, you know, when every day gets in the way, reach out for help, and that's what our registered dietitians are there for.
Absolutely.
You just don't want to sit in your office. You want people to come in and say, help me.
Come hang out with me. It's just a chat. It's really easy.
Well, Ciera, thank you, and happy National Nutrition Month.
Thank you.
Welcome back to Onslow County Today, and joining us now is Victoria Reyes with the Onslow County Health Department. Victoria, thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me, Lisa.
Now, Victoria, your role is that you are with the communications team here at the Health Department.
I'm the Community Relations Officer here.
All right, and you have set up a really important program coming up a little bit later this month. Tell us about your community forum, really what inspired it, what was the impetus for it, and who you're inviting to participate.
Yes, ma'am. So we work with OLA, Onslow Hispanic Latino Association, along with our Health Equity Work Group. And what we do is talk about equity and access to resources and reducing barriers. Our goal here at the Health Department is to provide access to everybody throughout Onslow County. And we really come together once a month and talk about how are we going to do that. So one thing that we've talked a lot about, and that's in our community health needs assessment, is food. We surveyed the community, and what was mentioned was it is difficult. Access to healthy foods is difficult. You just had Ciera Cook on, one of our registered dietitians. She also mentioned affordability. It's expensive. Sometimes it can be very expensive for those living on a very strict budget. She does a great job of letting people know, but not so many people do. So we are going to be hosting a community forum to talk about some of the resources that we do have to answer community questions. We have a panel of experts ranging from registered dietitians, nurses, as well as a fitness instructor to talk a little bit about foods, eating healthy, where to find them, how, eating on a budget. So that's going to be March 19th. Here at the Health Department, 5:30 to 7, and that's open to the public. We will also provide dinner, and I believe registration is open, and about 50 participants, so register soon.
Okay, so we want to make sure that people contact the Health Department and get registered. I'm certain you have all this on your website so that they can look at that. And ultimately, the goal is to say, there can be impediments to making those healthy choices, but we're here to help you overcome those impediments and how to find those resources that maybe you're not even aware that are here.
Oh, exactly. That's really what our health equity work group is for. We work with our community partners and we talk about what resources that we didn't even know about, and how we can then communicate that to the public. So our Facebook is a perfect resource. Go on. We like to share what the community is doing. We like to share what we're doing, and that's where the information will be for this event.
Well, that is fantastic. Victoria, thank you for coming and sharing that with us, and more importantly, for creating this work group and coordinating this forum. People get information from all different ways, but sometimes just sitting beside someone, sharing a meal, and having a conversation is the most effective.
Oh, yes. And we have our health equity work group meetings every month, and so that information is also on our Facebook page, and that's open to the public. We have food there too, so so great area, opportunity for resources.
Well, fantastic. Well, Victoria, thank you. We know the building, we got here early today, but the building's starting to wake up.
Yes.
And so we're going to get out of your way, but thanks for sharing this time with us.
Of course. Thank you so much for being here.
Welcome back to Onslow County Today, and joining us is Virginia March with a pitch sneak peek about what's coming in April. Virginia, tell us what you all are doing.
Thank you, Lisa. We are doing, as part of One Book, One Community, in partnership with Coastal Carolina Community College, we are bringing Abdi Noor Iftin, the author of Call Me American.
Well, we had a great visit with you in the park earlier in the fall, and talked with you and your partner there from Coastal Carolina Community College, Miss Sally, and you all brought such a great inspirational story about Abdi, and now you're bringing Abdi to Onslow.
Yes, so Abdi is a young man who grew up in Mogadishu during the time of all the turmoil. And he worked his way. He lived in refugees camps for a while and was able to win a lottery to come to the United States. But during that time when he was in the camps, he was not sitting still. He was learning English. He watched movies and just perfected his English. It was just part of the reason why the book's called Call Me American, because he spoke English so well, people thought he was American.
Okay, so we're going to get to actually meet Abdi. There's going to be a couple of events you've got going on, both at Coastal Carolina Community College, and then Maine Onslow County Public Library is hosting an event at Northside. Tell us the day, the date, and the times that we can look for that.
That will be Wednesday, April 22nd, and everything is free and open to the public. The first event will be at 2 p.m. at Bodenheimer Auditorium at Coastal Carolina Community College. Abdi will be speaking at 2 p.m. and at 3 p.m. he'll be doing a book signing.
That's awesome.
And then that evening at 7 p.m. at Northside High School, we'll also be hosting Abdi again. He will speak at 7 p.m. followed by, once again, a book signing at 8 p.m. And like I said, both events are free and open to the public.
So the thing we all need to be doing in the next month and a half for sure is we need to get to the library and either get an audiobook version or an ebook version or a hard copy version and read Call Me American.
Yes, please do, and you'll be inspired, and hopefully it'll also inspire you to come and join us to meet Abdi.
Well, Virginia, thanks for bringing that sneak peek about what's coming, and we are really looking forward to it.
Thank you, Lisa.
As always, we want to thank you for joining us for Onslow County Today, and a very special thank you to Onslow County Consolidated Human Services for hosting us today. We visited with a great team from the Onslow County Department of Social Services. Of course, we want to say a big thank you to all of our social workers in this National Social Worker Appreciation Month. We also want to say a special thank you to our Onslow County Public Library for sharing their spring upcoming events, and finally to our team from the Health Department for talking about National Nutrition Month and hosting a great community forum. There's so much to do here in Onslow County, and we invite you to get out and explore your Onslow County today.